Hey, Reinvention Rebels. Can you believe we are 100 episodes strong? 100 episodes of amazing midlife and older women who are crushing ageist stereotypes and stepping into the light to reinvent themselves in inspiring, bold, and unapologetic ways. And I am so appreciative of you being here for the ride. And I want to thank you with my free gift, 100 Ways to Reinvent Yourself in Midlife. I've got ideas and inspiration to get you started on your own reinvention journey. Just click the link in the show notes and download it in an instant. Let's get started and let's reinvent and get inspired together. Welcome to Reinvention Rebels, stories of brave and unapologetic women 50 to 90 years young who have boldly reinvented life on their own terms to find new purpose and possibilities. I'm your host, Wendy Battles. I need to kick your fears to the curb, do it scared, and step into who you are meant to be in midlife and beyond. These amazing women, these reinvention rebels, can help light your reinvention path. Come join us and let's get inspired together. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Reinvention Rebels podcast. I'm your host, Wendy. I am so glad you're here. If you stumbled upon me for the first time, welcome aboard. If you are a new listener, if you are one of my regulars, I am so happy you're here. Reinvention Rebels is a top 2% globally rated podcast. It is all about inspiration and hope and possibility in midlife and beyond. And I have the honor and pleasure of interviewing the most extraordinary and remarkable women, everyday women like you and me, who are reinventing in creative, ingenious, hope-filled, and always inspiring ways to find new possibilities as they age and truly to shine their light. You know, it's been a while since I've done a solo episode. So far, we've had 4 episodes to kick off season 6. Many of you know that our theme for this season is Own Your Awesome. It's all about how we step into our greatness right now, right where we are, and how we can do that. And my amazing guests are sharing their insights, both about the reinvention rebel journeys, but also about how they are learning how to own their awesome, just like me, because it's a process. It's a journey. It's not like we all do it and one day we were like, I am stepping into my greatness. It happens over time. So far this season, you've heard from Ison, who is this amazing Instagram fitness influencer. She is just so insightful about middle age and how we can shine and be our strongest. After Mimi, you heard Selby. Selby is in her 60s and has reinvented herself as an actor doing commercials, starting from scratch and doing the coolest things as she shines her light. A few weeks ago, you heard Bettina Peets, my 54-year-old amazing friend who started an outdoor retreat company for midlife women. It is so cool. Like, we need to get outside and get in our bodies. And she helps us do that as we build our midlife courage in the process. And then most recently, my interview with Guler Cortis was such a fascinating reinvention story. She is so full of joy and possibility. I love how she launched her Sexy at 60 YouTube series. So there are so many possibilities for how we can show up in midlife, step into the light, and honestly own our awesome. I thought it would be fun to do a brief episode to talk a little bit about what Own Your Awesome means to me. Because the reality is it means different things to all of us. I bet You have your own definition of what owning your awesome means in your own life. And I wanted to share with you 3 things it means for me. And in a future solo episode, I'm going to talk about ways that we can begin to build our awesome muscle, right? Because I think we're all in different places with how we feel about ourselves, our confidence, feeling like we can step into the light. So we'll talk about ways that we can do that. But for today, I want to share 3 things it means to me. So 1, when you're owning your awesome, it means 1, you're taking center stage. 2, you're speaking your truth. And 3, you're standing in your power. So let me break down each one of those. When you're owning your awesome, you're taking center stage. And by that I mean, the spotlight is on you. When someone takes center stage on Broadway, it's all about that person. The focus is totally on them. And what are they able to do? They're able to accept and appreciate the applause. They enjoy stepping into the light with the focus on themselves. For me, that means I'm making what I want a priority. I am shining the light on myself. I'm also embracing my accomplishments. Back in the day, I was like, who, me? I did that, really? Like, I couldn't accept when people complimented me or thought I did a good job or even see that in myself. So it's appreciating how other people see us. When we can take center stage, we're both appreciating how other people see us and able to accept those things, and also seeing that in ourselves, seeing where we shine, how far we've come, how we have in fact stepped into the light, owning that. That to me is taking center stage. So that is number 1. I'll also mention when we're taking center stage, we are appreciating just how far we've come. Girl, you have done some stuff. You have made progress. You are shining in new ways. So taking center stage is key. Number 2, speaking your truth. When you own your awesome, you feel good in speaking your truth. And again, speaking your truth can mean so many different things. It's all about how you might define speaking your truth. For me, it's about finding my authentic voice. And it has taken me quite some time to do that. Part of it is easier because I found my purpose, hosting this podcast and inspiring midlife and beyond women. And it's been easier to find my authentic voice. I think when I was searching for years, trying to figure out what am I meant to do, that made it harder. But I have found that voice. I'm able to also articulate what's true for me. And I was thinking about that because recently I had the pleasure of appearing on another Wendy's podcast. Her name is Wendy Hutchinson. She hosts a podcast called The Path of Me. I'll drop the link from a recent episode when I was a guest into the show notes. She has this beautiful podcast. It's all about spirituality and coming home to ourselves. And in this interview, I was talking about reinvention, how it's never too late to reinvent ourselves. But we got so deep, and I shared these really vulnerable things that honestly, I don't think I've shared with anyone as a podcast guest. And to me, that's about speaking your truth. It's giving ourselves permission to be vulnerable, to be honest with ourselves and with other people, perhaps in ways we haven't before. So speaking our truth is powerful. For me, it's also about looking within. It's about really getting honest with myself in ways I haven't before. So speaking your truth for me is about self-discovery. It's about uncovering. It's about digging deep to get to the essence of who I am. And that's all about speaking my truth. And when I can do those things, I am owning my awesome. So number 2 way that I think we can own our awesome is to speak our truth. Again, how I might do it might be different than how you might do it. there are no right or wrong ways. It's just about uncovering those things in our own time for us. So that's number 2. Number 3, standing in your power. That's been a hard one for me, standing in my power. The thing I notice is that we can stand in our power in many different ways. We can shine in certain parts of our life and maybe not stand in our power in others because it's an evolution. It's not that we have to stand in our power in everything and we always feel strong and fierce. It's not that. Again, that journey of coming home to ourselves where we feel more confident in standing in our power. And for me, standing in my power is about a lot of different things. It's about setting boundaries and getting really clear on what I want and what I don't want. And it's also sharing those boundaries with other people because otherwise, how will they know? So that for me is standing in my power. This idea of feeling rooted. When I'm standing in my power, I feel grounded. I feel rooted. I feel strong. I feel fierce. For many, many years, I felt that way about my work life, very strongly about that. Like I could stand in my power with ease and joy, but not always in my personal life, not always in like interpersonal communication. And that's been a journey. So I feel so much more confident now standing in my power. And there's, of course, that idea that when we stand in our power as we age, we care less about what other people think. And that is so true, that we feel much more free to express who we are and to set up those boundaries and to tell people no with joy, not with guilt. I remember back in the day, I would feel so bad. I would feel like I'm disappointing so-and-so and so-and-so. Now it's really about doing what I need to do to take care of myself. Not at the expense of someone else, of course, not to make them feel bad, but just to be really clear. So when we stand in our power and we can communicate what we need and our expectations, we can live with so much more joy and ease. So that's just another way to own our awesome. To wrap up, there are 3 ways that I am owning my awesome. And I'm really curious to know what some of the ways you do that are. But one for me, it's taking center stage and focusing on me and appreciating how far I've come and embracing my accomplishments. Number 2, it is speaking my truth with authenticity, vulnerability, just getting real and not being afraid to do that. And then number 3, standing in my power, setting clearer boundaries and feeling good and confident and expressing those both to myself and to other people, feeling much more grounded and really this fierceness when you stand in your power. That's how I own my awesome. I'm really curious how you do it. I'd love for you to, 1, pop me an email at wendy@reinventionrebels.com. If this is resonating, tell me about how you are doing that. And if you're thinking, well, I want to do that, but I'm not doing that, and I'm not sure how to get started, I'd like to stand in my power. I'd like to speak my truth. I'd like to take center stage. Well, there are all kinds of things that hold us back. It could be fear. It could be you're unsure. It could be you've never done it before. Many different things. If this resonates and you're thinking, yeah, I really love what she's saying and I want to explore that, I encourage you to download my free gift to you, which is my Do It Scared, Do It Anyway free guide. I talk about 3 ways that we can begin to move through uncertainty and fear to get started in thinking about what our lives could be, what we want, and how we can start moving in that direction. It's a great way to get out of the starting gates, just dip your toe in a simple way, and do a little self-exploration. And I've added the link to the show notes, so just tap or click. You can download it and it will instantly show up in your inbox. Let's get started on doing it scared, doing it anyway, and owning our awesome. I will be back next week with a new episode. I'm very excited about my guest who you are going to love. Her name is Regina Young, and she's amazing. And we're going to talk about her reinvention story, how she's owning her awesome, what she's learned, and how she keeps going. And developing on this journey of self-exploration, reinvention, and coming into our own. Until next time, keep shining your light, rebels. The world needs you and all that you have to offer. Are you tired of waiting for someday? Feel like you're too old or it's too late to reinvent yourself? Unsure of how you'd even get started on the path to midlife reinvention? I'm here to help as your guide on the side and host of the top 2% globally rated Reinvention Rebels podcast. I've been around the reinvention block a lot. Here's a simple way you can get started. Sign up for my free audio, 5 questions to spark your curiosity and inspire your reinvention rebel journey. It all starts with getting curious about what's possible. And I've got 5 questions to help tease out some very cool ideas. Let's get started. Details are in the show notes.